If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I want to first do a shout out to Austin over at The Review Show. He's a great guy. He's developing his channel, and if I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can run over there and show him some support and get him some subs. Great guy. I'm really enjoying what he's doing over there. So I'm talking about Stranger Things Season 3, and I have to say I liked Season 3, but I didn't love Season 3. And I'll tell you why. What gets me frustrated every time I watch the show is in the beginning it says created by the Duffer Brothers. Now, look, I grew up in Durham, North Carolina. These guys are from Durham, North Carolina. Hats off to them to getting the show off the ground and everything. And they've been hugely successful. But I almost feel like in some episodes it should say created by the Duffer Brothers and created by Spielberg and created by Robert Zemeckis and created by Sam Raimi, and the list can go on and on and on and on. I might be in the minority here, but I get a little frustrated with not just paying homage. I feel like there's this fine line of paying homage to other filmmakers and blatantly just kind of ripping off their stuff. The show Stranger Things pulls on the heartstrings of everybody that grew up in the 80s, like myself. I was born in 75. So all of the movies that these guys were influenced by, I was influenced by, okay? But it seems like maybe in the writer's room, when an episode comes up, they're like, okay, well, what thing could we take that everyone loved in the 80s and throw it in this episode? And I'm not talking about like, you know, Kit Kat running a promo, which is a great Easter egg, which they actually ran that promo in 1984. And I'm not talking about like the new Coke. I mean, there's so much product placement in these things, Jolt Cola, all the stuff like that. What I'm talking about is like that opening scene where it looked like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with all of the toys coming to life and going along and all this other kind of stuff, and the monkey with the symbols and everything. It was like, it was just blatantly just ripping off, not paying homage, but ripping off Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was what it was his intent. And then it was wind up being 11, you know, making them all do that stuff. And then, you know, Spies Like Us with the elevator just dropping out of nowhere and everything going like this and it going 1,000 miles an hour down to the, you know, to the Russians down at the bottom of the mall. The Thing, the double-jawed creature this time that, you know, James Cameron, Aliens, you know, or even like the Russian who is supposed to blatantly be the Terminator from 1984. And, you know, that scene when they first kind of reveal the Russian, he does this thing where he like turns his eyes, then turns his head, then turns his eyes, then turns his head. And he's got the sleeveless, fingerless gloves and the kind of the jacket with the collar turned up like the 1984 Terminator, the crop top. It's like, and he seems to be this indestructible Russian that nobody can destroy. And it's just like I don't know, man. Like, I'm frustrated because I feel like I said before, there's this fine line of ripping other filmmakers off and paying homage. Paying homage is a small Easter egg in the background that maybe somebody will figure out later. But, you know, down to like, and I said this about season 1 with like David Harbour's Hopper character as the sheriff in the same outfit that Roy Scheider wore in Jaws. His deputies look just like the Amity Police Department, and his truck is a Chevy Blazer, which is just like the Chevy Blazer in Jaws, except, you know, the crop top on that one. And so, like, those are subtle that most people don't pick up on, but then there's just like these blatant ripoffs. And, you know, I had this argument, or not argument, but this debate with one of my good friends who also loved the book Ready Player One and then really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie, didn't read the book, but again, like when I watched it, I was like, okay, so the guy who wrote the book Ready Player One pulled all the great ideas that other people came up with whether it's Back to the Future, the car, Knight Rider, pulsating. He took all the cool things of the 80s that other people invented and imagined and put it all into his book. So once again, it's like rap artists that sample songs that already went to #1 in a different decade that everybody knows the tune, and then they just throw a rap over it because the people that listen to it the first time will be automatically attracted to it. It just seems like a shortcut and a cheat. And again, but I really liked Stranger Things. I love all the actors. I don't want to take anything away from the acting. The acting is phenomenal. The cinematography is great. The directing is great. Everything's great across the board. But the ripping off of other shows gets a little frustrating. And full disclosure, back during season 2 of Stranger Things, I worked for a company in Atlanta, Georgia called 3D Petrie. And they did digital 3D scans and 3D printing, and we actually worked with Stranger Things, and we did the Demogorgon 3D printed in the different stages so that the kids could interact with the actual physical thing before it was taken out in post and digitally animated. And even the Beyond Stranger Things, which is that show on Netflix where they all talk about it, that icon, the picture of the kids holding on to the Demogorgon on the couch, we made that. So, and it was a great company to work for, and I love those guys over there at 3D Petrie. And I did get to go to Screen Gem Studios in Atlanta and get on the lot and saw the kids all there, during a lunch break and everything, and talked with the visual effects department. So they're all great people. Everybody who works on that show is absolutely fantastic. And but it just bothers me that it seems like all the really good ideas and good things that people love about the show were things that other people invented. And for me, I think the test will be when the Duffer Brothers have a new show after this thing runs, because when Stranger Things first started, it had a 5-season arc. They kind of knew where they were going over 5 years. And so we've got 2 more seasons of the show. And when they get their next show, it'll be really interesting to see what it is and how it's executed. And, if they really are as creative as what we've seen so far. Because what we've seen so far is other people's ideas molded into something that they can represent as themselves, the final product. But at the same time, it's just everyone else's already idea. It's hard for me to just wrap my head around. But my hat's off to the cast and crew. I actually have friends that are crew members on Stranger Things, and they're probably gonna light me up if they think I'm bad-mouthing the show, but I'm really not. I'm just not into it as much as everyone else is, because the nostalgia thing's great and I love it, but come on. I don't know if David Harbour this season has asked to be comic relief, because the first 2 seasons were real heavy with him being a real dramatic and having these really dramatic, dark scenes and everything, and this, he just seems like a punchline throughout all of season 3. And I don't know whether he just, because sometimes actors will have those requests. They'll be like, just can I smile? I've gone all these episodes. I've never even smiled in 2 seasons because I'm supposed to be this really, this sheriff that's the chief of police. That's, and that was another thing. He had that line, "I can do anything. I'm the chief of police." That was a line from Jaws, just directly lifted off the page and put into one of the episodes this season. Again, it's like every time I watch the episodes, and I get some of the things, like when the Russians in the convertible and the neutron dance comes on, and the first thing I'm laying right next to my wife, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was when Beverly Hills Cop, when the cigarette, the tractor trailer cigarette heist was going on in the beginning of that's the song that played it. So I get those little nuances and all those fun things, but at the same time, when I see the Close Encounters scene, to me that wasn't paying homage. Would have had the monkey in the background just on a shelf, and people, oh, they could put two and two together. That's either The Shining or that's Close Encounters. But they're having all the toys come to life and everything and recreating that scene. And again, like, we all love the Never Ending Story and we love that song. And, you know, it just seems like somebody else wrote that really awesome song, but they get to sing it, and then it becomes this, you know, I don't know. Now I'm starting to ramble on my little rant here about Stranger Things season 3. I liked it. I'm not totally in love with it. I don't know if they've jumped the shark at this point, because it seems like season 3, other than the mall and some of the things that they brought into it, it seems like this first season all over again. Because, you know, they're trying to open the hole and all this stuff, and it was already closed. And then, like, where do you go with the show when you veered off a little bit with season 2? Now season 3 is really a rehash of the first season, and we all know David Harbour is, you know, in the post credits now, he's in Russia in a jail cell because he probably went through some sort of, you know, the whole, you know, he got sucked into it or something like that when everything collapsed. And so I don't know where they go with it. I just hope we get something really fresh and original for season 4. I really do. I really hope it really pushes all the actors and pushes the show forward, instead of rehashing stuff we've already seen with a little bit of The Thing thrown in there, and Spies Like Us, and Jaws, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and The Evil Dead. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. What did you like Stranger Things? Do you think I'm completely off base with my thoughts on Stranger Things? Am I the only one in the world out there that is feeling like this when it comes to Stranger Things right now? I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comments section, and we'll see you on the next one.